It is.
Where is Vanessa when I need her to do all this technical stuff? In the bloody America, having a wonderful time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pardon Your French podcast. I am Stephanie Lauren, and today we are talking perimenopause and menopause with the beautiful.
Davinia.
Thank you so
Hello.
much for your time. It's such a crazy way that, like, I feel like I've known you forever, but we've only just met and we've only ever talked over a messenger and stuff, haven't we? This is our first ever face-to-face conversation.
It's so bizarre because literally we've been chatting back and forth just on Messenger, and I'm like, I feel like I know this girl for sure. But
Yeah.
anyway, you're
It's
lovely.
oh, bless you, and you are too, and it's so good because I mean I literally saw your social media post in a Facebook group for podcasters, and I was like, this is literally it just the right moment. I saw your information. I was like, this is who I've been looking for and needing to talk to. And then we sort of had the conversation. I was like, yeah, she's definitely the person that I need to bring on this podcast because I did a little bit of social media about my symptoms, which I'll run through with you, and
Hit
the
me with
amount
it,
of
baby.
feedback, yeah, and messages that I had. With a lot of people feeling the same way. And I was like, oh, thank God that normalized it for me. But I also wanted to have a conversation with somebody that is an expert in it that can just guide me on what to do because I felt like well, I still feel like I'm going absolutely freaking mental. So help.
Been there, been
SOS.
there. Bless you.
SOS.
Okay, go on then. Talk away. What do
So
you first of all?
obviously now I live in France, so I'm in the south and it is incredibly hot. Like, we've had a recent heat wave and it's been like 40, 41. But just before that, and it wasn't that hot, I was getting like the hot flashes and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm burning in my own skin.
Yeah.
Um, and I've always been the kind of girl that would in the winter wear summer clothes and in the summer wear winter clothes. Born like it. So my temperature gauge is now off its rocker and I can't abide it. And then yeah, just a little bit more sensitive, less impatient, less patient. I can get triggered quite easily. Brain fog is a real thing. I used to be quite proud of my brain and how many things it could multitask and do at the same time. Now it can't do any of that. It's just stopped. It's just gone. Fuck off,
Have
Steph.
you gone to mush?
Yeah, mush. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolute
yeah.
mush.
Mush. Yeah.
Like I just,
Hang on a minute.
yeah.
Do you go into a room and you walk in there and you're like, oh, bloody hell, what was I coming in here for? Do you do that all the time?
Oh, I go into the fridge and then I go, fuck, what was I cooking for dinner? I don't have to go and ask my 11-year-old, what did mummy say she was making for dinner today? And you go, like lasagna. I was like, oh yeah. God. Like, he just thinks I'm weird. And then, yeah, I just play along with it. I'm like, oh yeah, mummy's having a moment, a mummy moment. But yeah, so brain fog, just lack of, just everything, a lack of. And like I said to you before we recorded, like I never thought about perimenopause or menopause. I just turned 43 in June. And then I spoke to my cousin because I was like, oh, I feel like weird. And she's like, oh, do your teeth hurt? And I was like, weird. How do you know my teeth hurt? And she's like, I had the exact same thing. I think you're in the perimenopause. So I was like, fuck off, Joe. And she's like, no, I literally think and she started before me. So is it genetic in the sense of you have like I would start at 43 and she was around a sort of similar time. Is that early? I don't know.
Well, so if you've got a family history of like earlier menopause or severe menopause or whatever it might be, but there's things like stress levels, obviously health, lifestyle, depending on like family and what have you. There's different factors of with whether you're going to start, perimenopause early or not. But generally, perimenopause sort of starts around 40s, mid to late 40s, but it can start as early as mid 30s or even 30, right?
Fuck.
Yeah, that's like super early. And
Wow.
it can last like between 4, 10 years, depends on everyone. And so, like your perimenopause is like when your hormones are fluctuating. So it's characterized by like hormonal fluctuations, and that causes your different symptoms. And then you're technically, when you've reached menopause, is when you have not had a period for 12 months consecutively.
Oh,
And
right,
menopause
okay.
then class is like literally one day when you've like not had a period for 12 years and 12 years, 12 months. And then you're like,
Wow.
oh, okay. And that's when they class it as menopause.
It takes a
Okay.
whole year to be classed as having the menopause.
Yeah. So that's how it is. But perimenopause is, I'm so blinking dark on this thing. Oh well, whatever.
We don't
Um,
look dark. We look very just fantastic.
Um,
Like,
yeah, but perimenopause, you have so many different symptoms, and
yeah,
it's so funny because like sometimes people go, well, I don't know, I'm starting to have, like you said, can be teeth, hot flushes, night sweats, starting to like maybe not sleep as well, sleep disturbance,
yeah, my sleep's been
regular
affected.
periods, might
Yeah,
become
that's affected.
shorter, might becoming heavier, might becoming like lighter,
Yeah,
longer. Vaginal dryness, we'll talk about that in a minute because that's my
yeah.
specialty. Joint pain.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, knees and hips. And I'm like, it's just because I'm fat. Like all the symptoms that you're talking about, I could go, oh, and I do. I go, oh, well, it's hot. I live in France. That's why I'm having hot flushes in it. Or I'm hot at night, so I don't sleep so well. So it's really hard for me to go, actually,
which
and accept.
Yeah, but I
I,
think for most people, they tend to go by the period one. That's the one where they go,
yeah,
are my cycles changing?
yeah.
Like I knew that mine were going, I used to be like every 20, I don't know, 30 days, whatever it was. And then I was going to like every 20 days. I was like, oh, this is shit.
Oh,
20 days and I'd have my period for 10 days.
oh my
Grim.
God.
Yeah. Um, I'm actually on HRT and we'll talk about that later because I've actually started it because I really felt I need that extra support and it's been a lifesaver for me and I'll explain why. Um, but yeah, so really, you start to see a lot of people they start to see a difference in their periods, but some people don't. Some people I've got a friend at the moment and that's not massively changing, but other things are where she's like she just feels super anxious. She feels like
Yeah.
she can't cope. Her brain is just frazzled. She's foggy. I mean, you could just say that's stress as well, right? But she's feeling all these other different symptoms. She's feeling hot. She's feeling like she's just starting to sweat
Tired,
like
tired,
what?
like chronic fatigue.
Tired, chronic fatigue,
Yeah,
exhaustion.
yeah.
Feeling like, do you know what? It's that I don't know if you've had this. Oh my God. I now am so emotional about crap. Right. I went to a wedding recently. It's not even like I don't mean it's really wedding person I went to, but it's not even someone that I'm not that friendly with. It's like my husband's friend's daughter, right? Lovely. We went to the wedding. It was really lovely. They're lovely people, but I don't know her. Like, she's not a best friend or a relative. When she walked down the aisle, she looked beautiful and she looked so lovely. I just started bawling my eyes out. And I was like, what the fuck? Never used to care. Like, you just,
Just every day. And now, different
it's
scale, different. I tried it
difference.
something in the supermarket the other day, and I was like, oh, "Steph, get a grab." I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm a Gemini as well, so I'm just like, oh, it's my Gemini birthday behavior. I don't think it was.
It's really weird how things change. And I think
Yeah.
I think at this time you've got to give yourself grace because
Hmm.
I don't know if you've gone through this part, but so last year, right, so just so everyone has a little bit of background, I've been in the health and fitness and working with women wellness industry for 26 years. I know I don't look old enough.
You
But
don't.
but and I've always worked in sort of like health, weight loss, fat loss, wellness. And last year, right, everything changed for me, right? All the stuff that I used to do, I'm a cardio queen. I've always been that annoying person that
Oh,
gets
have you? Oh, I
oh,
hide away from you when I see you coming, you lot.
yeah.
Well,
So I'm that annoying person that everyone hates because I'm like,
come on.
yeah, I'm really annoying. It's perfect for my job. And I used to teach loads of aerobics and classes and all that sort of stuff. So I've always been like super energetic and I've always thought of like calories in, calories out. That was the world of fitness, especially when you're younger. That
Yeah.
does work very well, right? You cut your calories down, you move a bit more, happy days, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, you lose the weight. That's how it worked. It really
Hmm.
does. And then last year, I was like, bloody hell, I'm gaining a bit of weight and I'm feeling a bit rubbish. And actually, I'll just, do what I normally do. And it wasn't working. And I was like, this is weird, right? Starting to feel like, what's going on? And then I was like, I'm feeling really awful. So I try and make myself go for a run. And in the past, I say try because in the past, I'd get up in the morning and I could run, a good few miles, happy days. Brilliant. I felt terrible. I felt so exhausted and just like I wasn't sleeping and I was overriding myself and I just felt knackered and my anxiety was through the roof. I'm someone who can get anxious, but I've always been able to, turn things around.
Yeah.
But I really didn't know what was going on. And to the point where I took my daughter to school and on the way back, I used to like walk her to school. And it's a quite a fair way, poor little thing. I used to make her walk there. It was like 30-minute walk. But anyway, and on the way back, I used to run home or fast walk. Anyway, I had to sit on the side of the road. I thought I was having a heart attack, right? I felt terrible. I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't feel like me. And I was just like really scared.
Mm.
And I got home. I had to cancel my client. So I'm a coach and I have, clients one-to-one on here, blah, blah. I had to cancel my clients and I had to cancel down my week because I didn't feel
Yeah.
like which I don't do easily because unlikely because I love what I do and I'm always like,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't do it and I knew I couldn't be of service to people, so I had to close down. And I was also going on holiday a week later, right? Sounds amazing. I was going to Dubai, right? Who doesn't want to go to Dubai?
Mm.
Brilliant. I didn't even want to get on the plane. I didn't know what was going on. Not even like the high idea. And we've been saving up for this lovely holiday and be really, a lovely holiday coming up. I didn't even want to get on the plane. I had to
Wow.
take Vogel stress drops, had to get my husband to calm me down, and my poor daughter like wondering what the hell's going on, mummy. I was like an absolute nutter. And I just didn't feel like me. And I felt, I've heard people say they're going through, but most of my clients in perimenopause and menopause, but till you go through it, you don't really get it. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I sort of, I've always listened and could empath or sympathize, not empathize, because I didn't know what it was. Anyway, when I was on this plane, I was like, I just didn't know what was going on. And when I got to Dubai, basically, I spent a lot of that holiday feeling quite miserable and really quite sad. And I started doing a lot of research and I started to realize, actually, I think I'm going through perimenopause
Yeah.
because all the things were coming up. And I started to do loads of research. And I'll go into this sort of overdrive, it's a bit of an ADHD mindset thing. And I was just going into this major overdrive of like, I'm going to find out as much as I can. And after that, I decided, right, I'm going to make these changes. And I did quite a few lifestyle changes, which I can talk about.
Hmm.
But so I did those and I started to feel massively better. And I dropped the body fat, brilliant, because I was fed up about that. Because obviously it's my job was,
Yeah.
to people around that. So then I was like, Christ, I need to start making changes on how I help people. And then I trained to be a menopause coach because like actually I know I've been in the industry for 26 years, but I need to know this extra part now because there's differences going on. And I need to
Yeah.
help people. Um, and do you know one of the biggest things I've learned from this, right? I always used to override. I always used to say, come on, just get on with it for God's sake.
Yeah.
No, you've got to listen now. This is a time when you hear this, and I used to think, what a load of crap. But I really
Yeah. They're
believe it.
just weak.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
used to think that. And now I'm like, no, you've got to listen to your body.
Yeah.
If your body's saying, I'm absolutely exhausted, please, you've got to listen to it, you've got to honor it
Yeah.
because it does make a difference. And
Yeah.
probably one of the biggest things I've learned over this last 18 months.
Wow. And the way you phrase that, honor it,
Honor it.
is amazing because I would never, I don't ever sleep in. I'm up at like 5 a.m., bed at 11 at night. Like I smash through my day to feel that like sense of achievement, but also
Yeah.
survival kicks
Yeah.
in. Um, but yeah, to say that honor it, honoring yourself and your body, massive shift in just that way of perspective. Because I never
Massive.
honor myself. I always put myself at the bottom of the list and I take care of everybody else first before me.
Yeah. And the thing is, I always think, do you know when you go on the plane and they do the demos and they do
Yeah.
you got to put the thing the mask on your face. And I always remember thinking, well, bloody hell, like my child's more important. I need to put my child up. But
Yeah.
it's true, right? You have to save yourself first to be able to
Yeah.
help them.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
it's
true. And they say if you're no good, you're no good to anybody else. And I was like,
exactly.
oh, that's quite hard. for me as quite a stubborn, self-motivated individual to take on board and actually take heed of that.
I
Because I
I
go,
hear
no,
you.
it's fine. I'll just go again. Because I'm grit. I'm like, I'll go again. I'll go again. Um, and then sometimes you have to go, no, you need to
Yeah,
stop and rest and relax. And then I can't relax. I find it very difficult to relax. If I have got a time where my dad's doing something or, in the garden or Cut is at school or I've got 10 minutes to myself to go and sit down or read a book and I'm like, ooh, I then get really anxiousy and like ants in my pants and I'm like, oh, okay, off I go again. And I can't, but like I said to you before, I possibly have ADHD. A lot of
yeah.
people that know me well would have told you that a long time ago. And I have seen recently this do you watch Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a
I love
CEO?
Stephen Bartlett. Yeah,
So do I. And one of the conversations he was having with this like hormone specialist, and she said, have you just noticed recently that there is like a wave of women that are like late diagnosed ADHD? And I was like, yeah, because it seems like so like 1 in 4 now have got ADHD, but a lot of it is actually it's they're in the perimenopause
mm,
because the symptoms like mimic each other and stuff. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not ADHD, maybe I'm just in the perimenopause. Like I don't know. Like I need to go and get a certain doctor to qualify what I am, or I could be both.
mm.
Um, but you need life skills to be able to manage with whatever you are going through, don't you?
You do, and I think it's about stopping and reflecting and thinking,
Yeah.
what is going on, right? And I think one of the things I always say to my clients and to my friends and to people around me is if you think you're going through perimenopause, start, like the good old journaling, but start writing down your symptoms to
Yeah.
see what is going on and
Yeah.
how often those symptoms are going on and how you're feeling and start really, because actually if you're going to the doctor, for instance, and you want to get, for instance, HRT, sometimes
Yeah.
it can be quite difficult to get HRT because
Mm.
they often, so in England, um, it's, it's, well, this is funny. At 45, you're meant to be able to go to the GP and they can give it to you like without any sort of blood test or whatever. That's basically what they're saying nowadays.
Wow.
Not the case. It's not the
Oh,
case. It's something I've heard, I've seen on the news, I've heard, but it's not the
one of
case.
those rumors. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those wonderful rumors. But the point with any of that is, yes, I get that, they're doing blood tests because they need to see what's going on with your levels and if there's anything else going on. So you can get that. But the problem when you're going along, so for instance, I've got a friend at the moment who'd be really struggling with OCD. So she's not been out of the country or is it arachnophobia when you don't like to go out? Or what's it called?
Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia when you
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
And she had really bad OCD, anxiety, agoraphobia, and has not been able to, sort of get on trains or go and do
No.
things or live her life, bless her. And anyway, we were having chats recent, sort of more recently, and she was saying, I think we've realised it's perimenopause for her as well, and her anxiety levels were so
Yeah.
bad. And to the
Yeah.
point of getting debilitating, her job, she just couldn't do what she was doing. And
Mm.
she's like the most incredible person.
Yeah.
So, oh, why have I suddenly gone echoey? Anyway,
Um,
can you hear that?
yeah, I can't hear it.
Oh, maybe it's this microphone. I've got a microphone that I've not set up, and it's just suddenly right. Anyway, um, I've got this microphone hanging down. I'm not using.
Good.
God, what? Um, yeah. So she ended up talking to me and going, I think I need some extra help. I think I need to get some HRT. I've done my research, and I feel like it's the right thing for me. So I said, when you go along, make sure you write down all your symptoms. And when she went and had her blood tests, because they did blood tests, and they went, yeah, okay, but you're within the range.
Oh,
But here's the thing, right? And I've had the same thing. And I said, and she spoke to them about it as well. She was within the range, I was in the range, but it's a broad range,
yeah.
right? And also your hormones change daily, right?
Yeah.
Right? Depending on what part of the month you're in, what's going on, your stress levels, yada, yada, yada. So it gives you a rough idea, but they still got need to do a few to be able to see what's going
Yeah.
on. And so to suddenly have one set of blood tests and dismiss you and say, no, you can't have HRT. Anyway, so not that I'm sitting here going, everyone go and get HRT, but what I'm trying to say is that by doing journaling, by doing symptoms, it can help you see A, what's going
Yeah.
on, And B, if you are someone who's thinking, I need HRT because it's got that bad and I think it might help me, then going along with that, and if they do your blood tests and they're still not showing quite the drop they want to see, you can go along with that and go, I really need some help and support. And that is the thing that makes them go, okay, we'll try it. And actually with this girl, just to share this girl, like I said, has not been out on trains, not been out doing anything, done nothing for ages, such a bad way, right? She's now out living her best life. She's like, so she lives up north. She's going on the train now. She's going all over the country. I think she might even be going abroad soon. Like literally,
Wow.
we
Got a
have
life back.
got her life back because the HRT has helped. Because here's the thing: talk about the OC, not OCD, ADHD with mimics the symptoms. It's the same with the OCD and anxiety, the things that
Right.
she's got, right? And it mimics the symptoms of perimenopause. So because she's on the HRT, it's helping to level her hormones out, so she's
Right.
not getting those massive, you know,
Spikes of like the
spikes
up
affecting
and
it.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
which seem to like come at any time. It's stupid, but like 2 days ago, me and my little boy went to the supermarket here,
yeah.
and I literally paid for my stuff, put my card in my purse, and then went to the car, put all the stuff in the car, and I was like, my purse is gone. And then normally I would be able to go right and visualize. I was here, I did this, da, 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 and I couldn't. I couldn't
Yeah.
remember the that capacity had gone, and we had to go back in, and we went everywhere looking for it. It had been taken,
Oh.
but I didn't click on that it had been stolen. So I'm blaming myself, going, "Oh my God, I'm so stupid! I don't know." And Carter's going, "Don't worry, it's just your perimenopause." And I'm like, "Yeah, but it's a big worry because of all my ID, bank cards, everything, all my, everything had been taken." And I was like, the knock-on effect of that. And I beat myself up something stupid, only to find out when I went back to the store yesterday, because I then had to go and get a crime number, that somebody had handed it in. All the money was taken, but whatever, all the cards were there. And I was like, oh, I beat myself up and cried and was just in such a state for something that actually I wasn't even responsible for.
Mm.
But I blamed myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
because you think, oh, is this shit gonna keep happening now?
Yeah.
Now I'm here. Now I've arrived at this stop. Is all the next stops going to be like this? Because it's just so far from who I am as a person. It's quite scary to know that like your personality, it feels like, can kind of creep
Change.
up and change so quickly and rapidly, and without me even knowing why.
Well, I
Which is
think
why we're having the conversation
oh,
today.
well,
Because
yeah, because hormones are changed. So what you've got to think is when we're going through perimenopause, so we have a few different hormones going on, but we have the ones I always think of for like fat loss and wellness. And obviously I always talk about fat loss because it's one of the things I do with my clients all the time.
Mhm.
I focus with my clients on sort of navigating perimenopause with wellness and fat loss, right? But the ones that we see a massive change in, and we've spoke about these briefly before, is just before we came on, is cortisol, right?
Yeah,
The cortisol, that little bugger, that little stress hormone.
yeah, I've got a
Yeah.
cortisol face,
Cortisol phase. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
puppy.
yeah, cortisol phase. And I hear you on that because I've had that, like, and it's a real thing. And that's
Yeah,
basically stress, right?
yeah,
Hormone cortisol, right? Or stress hormone cortisol. When we're going through, and this is to do with sleep as well, when we have a lack of sleep and sleep is decreased, right? Because mainly because hormones are out of balance, um, cortisol rises. And of course, the more cortisol, our body holds on to it, right? The
yeah,
body, because it's going, I need to protect the body. So it
yeah.
holds around our organs.
Yes. Instead of
Cortisol,
inside, it's on the
they're
outside,
inside.
which is to
Yeah,
protect us. Whereas us, vanity goes, "Oh, I'm so fat," but it's like
yeah,
it's actually saving your life because it's not
yeah,
inside, it's outside. But
yeah. So that's that one. Then obviously insulin goes. So this is when a lot of people start getting like maybe type 2 diabetes because
yes,
insulin, right? Insulin levels start increasing to do with stress, to do with all our hormones, because our hormones are changed. It's really important we get our hormones balanced, right? So that otherwise what happens is our insulin we become insulin resistant and then we put on
instant.
more body fat.
Yeah,
And then we've got estrogen and progesterone, which are going, all over the place. And
yeah,
when we have our estrogen decline, that's when we So basically, estrogen decline is when you start to see, well, it's all to do with brain, so it's brain fog, it's brain function. We're starting to see, again, body fat distribution changes. We're starting to see all these hormonal changes. We're starting to feel hotter, maybe dry skin, dry vagina. I want to talk about that massively because that's something I'm
Hmm.
really, advocate for. And you start to just see all these different factors. And then, of course, with along these factors, it's our mood swings. And the problem
Yeah.
I found, or for most people, is that because they're not getting enough sleep, right? Because it is disturbed, that's when they just feel like they've been hit by a bus and they're just
Yeah.
like,
And you wake up tired
you
and
wake up feel tired.
demotivated. And I am so not used to feeling that way. And yeah, it's like being a newborn, like having a newborn baby.
Yes,
That
exactly.
like
That's how I felt.
survival mode of like, and I'm always, and I think it's because I'm a single mum since
Mm,
Carter was born. Like I'm always on alert and I'm asleep, but I'm not actually asleep because I'm listening out for him.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
always in that yeah,
Fight or flight.
state of
Yeah.
survival mode all the time. And
Mama bear.
the mama bear, and I, it sounds stupid, but when you say about the estrogen and progestin, so I have a protein S deficiency, which I wasn't aware of until I had 7 miscarriages.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't carry. And then they finally did some blood tests, found out I had a protein S deficiency. And actually, when I was pregnant, I had to take progesterone, estrogen,
Oh,
like all through the pregnancy, warfarin to thin my
wow.
blood, and then the hormones after. So I'd like suppositories and tablets I had to take, and the injection every single day and 3 months postpartum. And I guess I probably, looking back, have been in that hormonal state of change since Carter was born because it's not improved. Because then they said to me, "Oh no, if you're not pregnant, you don't need to take the hormones and stuff." But I'm like, I think I actually do because I feel like I'm so depleted in that way. And then I try to make up with it in vitamins, but I'm like, that's never gonna cut it if I'm lacking estrogen and progestin.
Yeah, it's true. Because you can obviously so here's the thing, it's like you can make some massive changes to help support the body,
Yeah.
right? And changes would be things like, okay, let's listen to our body, which I know I hear you. It's hard to because we often like to override it, especially when, you know, like, you've told me that you've been working for yourself, you're a
Hmm.
single mum, all these things, you're driven to like, I've
Yeah.
got to keep going.
Mm.
That's not saying that other people don't, but there's, it's like a survival thing.
When you have no choice, you have no choice.
You have no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And so it's hard to suddenly go, all right, I'm gonna, just stay in bed till 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
But I think the things that I learned over the last sort of year was actually, like in the past, I might have finished my day's work with my clients, and I go, right, I'm gonna go and smash my, I don't know, my
Yeah.
workout out. And I'm like, do you know what? I can't do it. I just,
Mm.
and in the past I've gone, no, you bloody are. And now I'm like, no. And I think it's little things going. I need to take some time out. I'm a massive fan of like self-care whereby, you go, right, I'm just gonna like maybe say you and Carter, he could be doing, I don't know if he's one of those kids that charges around like a nutter like my daughter, or whether he's happy.
Insanely.
Yeah,
Insanely. Doesn't stop talking, doesn't stop running, doesn't stop anything. It's
yeah,
constant.
yeah, constant. Throw him in the pool.
Yeah, he was in there for about 8 hours yesterday, him and his friends in
Wonderful.
and out.
Throw
Like,
him in the
yeah,
pool and you can starfish. But it's trying to
starfish. Yeah.
you're my starfish now.
Yeah. Like, I have just been stuck like that.
Oh,
Oh my God, cool
I
me
love that.
down. Mm.
But finding things, like to literally calm the body down because we need to bring the cortisol levels down. So it's trying to find things that are going to relax the body. And everyone's got different ideas and routines, right? But things, like walking maybe in nature or putting on some happy music and
Music.
meditating or
Yeah.
whatever it would be. Um, Food, right? Lifestyle, that's massive. And you know how we hear a lot, and I used to think protein, schmotein, yeah, whatever. I've been in the health fitness industry for 26 years. I've never had to do all this massive amount of protein. Bugger me, I changed it last year, right?
Yeah.
When I started to look at, and I feel a bit embarrassed because I've been doing this for 26 years, and I was like,
Yeah, but
uh,
everything's moved on and everything's
yeah,
changed.
it's
Research,
changed. Yeah, exactly. And yeah,
education,
science
it's all,
backed research stuff. So here
yeah.
we go. But in the older days, I probably, because I was a veggie and I've been a vegan for a short, like, couple of weeks once, and I've done, every bloody regime you can imagine, right? Um, but I've always been a pretty healthy eater, 80/20, right?
Hmm.
And then last year, I was like, okay, I'm just going to have a little look because I think I actually need to have more protein because that obviously helps to, like, balance the hormones a bit more, stops the blood sugars shooting up,
Spiking. Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Do you know how much protein I was having, right? I was having around about 40 or 50 grams a day, right? My size body, right, needs 130 grams. I was miles off.
I would be so below that. I know to look at me, I do eat a lot, but I don't ever eat breakfast. I don't really do lunch. Occasionally have dinner. I'm a nightmare. I'm a
Yeah,
nightmare. I have lived off caffeine.
yeah.
Again, really bad for cortisol.
You're my perfect client, right?
Yes, I
Because
will
the
be.
person, yeah, because you are the person I'd go, right, okay, we need to start changing these around because actually, and it's, I'm working with a lady at the moment, and her blood sugars are like all over the place. And I'm working with her because she's got a procedure in a few months and her blood sugars are too high. So we're working
Right.
on, and I've got her to wear a blood sugar monitor and we're really trying to get them down and we're doing really well. Um, she wasn't eating a lot, to be
Mm.
honest, but what she was eating was shit for her.
Yeah,
Like, it
yeah, yeah,
wasn't serving her body. So it's sort of trying to get the right balance for people. But the balance in the blood sugars and the protein and the sort of healthy regime. And that means not eating fuck all. It means eating enough to support your body.
yeah,
Because most people undereat. And I always used to think, oh, that's not a thing, that's rubbish. Oh no,
yeah.
it's not.
No,
It's
it's not. And then I was thinking to myself, like, how am I so fat? Like, how am I like this size when I don't eat it? And I didn't realize or recognize or want to acknowledge the fact that my body was in starvation mode,
yeah. So it
and
holds on to the
trying to
body
hold
fat.
on. So
Yeah.
it held on to everything, like, and as I'm trying to get up my because I never used to drink water at all. So now I'm much better at, and I don't know if it's ADHD. I can't drink water out of a cup. I can only drink water with a straw, but I've got like a big that I take around with me now. I can't drink out of a cup. I can only drink with a straw. But if it's there, I will drink lots of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to have protein, even if I just have like some eggs or something in the morning. I'm trying to have 25 to 30 grams of protein for breakfast every morning now. I am taking
Whoop, whoop.
creatine. I
Yeah.
know it's
Whoop, whoop.
a big, yeah. I think actually because I felt so shit, I was like, right, it's only me that can save me in
Yeah.
this situation. Like my dad and my son aren't going to go, oh mum, let's go get you some vitamins. Or so I'm like, okay, research looking online. Like I say, certain good good groups have been great because I'm like creatine in the morning, 5 grams. I've taken vitamin D, vitamin C,
Amazing.
charcoal to balance out my gut because I didn't realize the impact on my brain from my gut
Yeah,
when
that's
all the
it. That's
microbiome's out of whack.
a good.
Um,
I do think a good probiotic. So I'm a huge fan. There's a few things like I take myself, and depending what your issues are, but I mean, I'm a key advocate for good probiotic.
yeah,
So I take two a day,
yeah,
and I take a good they call it intimate probiotic, whatever. It's for your fanny,
yeah.
and microbiome for that.
Probiotics.
What?
I love it. Fanny probiotics. I love
Yeah,
it.
very good. And she needs it. She deserves it.
She's
Um,
worth it.
she's worth it. Yeah, and I think that's really key too. Can we talk
Mm.
about vaginas?
Let's go.
Okay, so
Mine hasn't been used in so long. I don't even know if I've got one anymore. I don't know. It must still be there.
hello.
Hello, everybody.
Uh, anyway, I want to talk about vaginas because this is something that I think is, and it's something that I'm going to do a lot more around, not as part of my work, but more as my part of my to help other people. This is not like
Yeah,
a trying to sell something around this. It's just, I think this is my secondary messaging now in life, and this is, when we're going through perimenopause, right, and beyond, especially but beyond, um, something like 20, I said to you earlier, but my quote is something like 24 to 74% of women go through vaginal atrophy, right, through like after menopause or menopause and beyond, and around 50% of women through perimenopause go through vaginal atrophy. Now, let me talk about this because this is something, if I can help someone to stop this or
Yeah.
going, oh my God, I've done my job.
Light bulb moment.
Light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Guys, so if you have any of these sort of symptoms, and like maybe, so I'm 46. I started getting these symptoms about, actually, it was when I was going through my major divorce. I was going through a divorce like 10 years ago. It was a fucking nightmare.
Mm.
It's a major stress. So of course, it was all like, it's stress, it's this, it's that. And I'm not denying that stress is a part of it because when you have stressful situations, your estrogen, especially in perimenopause, declines because that's what that basically sucks out the estrogen and stress, and so it can exacerbate conditions. So and I actually do have a few other conditions. I have like this thing called vulvodynia and vulvospilitis. So I have these issues. Basically, in my family, we don't have very happy vaginas. It's not
Mhm.
fun, hereditary. But I actually have something called vaginal atrophy. I hate the word atrophy. It sounds
Yeah,
horrible.
it's like a weird word, isn't it, for a vagina?
Should we call it a trophy?
Yes. Give it a name that
Vaginal
feels like it
atrophy.
deserves a medal.
Yes, it deserves a medal. Actually,
Mm.
I thought it was a trophy initially, and I was saying that to my mates, and they're like, "It's atrophy," and I was like, "Oh, I prefer a
Oh.
trophy." But anyway, so what I'm seeing or what I've experienced is that I was, getting all these like pain around my like vulva, around my entrance of my vagina, and like that bit, the perineum, like all around there. Oh God, sore. And like I was going to the doctor, and I was like, bloody hell, what's going on? It's really sore. And then I'd go to the doctor, and I'd think it was a UTI, and they'd then give me cystitis sachets and UTI things and blah blah blah. And I'd like it come back and forth, back and forth. This is over the last 10 years. And I was going to see gynaes, and I had like manual therapy where they're trying to like help stretch my vagina. Honestly, it's been a shit show.
Mm.
Fine. So I went through all these. And then this year I had a massive flare up again. And I was like, I just don't think the doctors are quite getting, because they're just saying it's vulvodynia and vulvospilitis. And I've had those for years. And that's just sort of like a soreness around the vagina. And I was like, this is really horrific. And I was going through some stressful times. And I was like, I just don't know what's going on. And because obviously I trained last year to be a menopause specialist, I thought, I'm just gonna like coach. I was like going through all my notes again, just going, I'm just gonna like check. And I was going through it going, this sounds very similar to what I've got. And I was cross-referencing and I'm like, oh my God, this is definitely what I am experiencing. And I end up going to the doctor and saying, this is what I have, and this is why I need to get loaded up on HRT, right? Predominantly in my vagina. So I'm having a topical vaginal estrogen and I'm having a pessary.
Right, okay.
So what that means is I've got it like smear sort of around like your vulva bit and your perineum.
Yeah,
And then,
which goes straight into your bloodstream, so it's much better and it's not a synthetic.
yes, right. And that obviously is going straight to the area to plump it up because it's like
Yeah.
with vaginal atrophy, it's like the skin has thinned. So
Right.
imagine thin
Yeah.
skin, right? Everywhere else gets fatter, that gets thinner.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Right. Um, and no, I'm not joking, but on a serious note, that's what's happened. And some people don't really experience too much of it. Some people can, get really affected, especially if you've already got these, vaginal problems. And so when I went to the doctor, I was like, okay, this is definitely what I've got. Anyway, so I've been taking these pessaries and I've done loads of research around this, and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many women that struggle with. And so the symptoms are things like recurring UTIs, burning when you're weeing, burning like maybe not when you're weeing, but like your skin burns afterwards, and you're like, fucking hell. Um,
Wow.
when you walk, it hurts. When you're wearing knickers, it hurts. You can't wear gym gear. You can't have sex. You wouldn't be able to use a tampon. Using a applicator to put the pessary up hurts like bilio. Um, Having a smear is excruciating. I had one last year and I nearly hit the roof. I've never experienced anything like it, right? Oh my God. And it's just
Wow.
horrific and it's
Yeah.
debilitating because
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself. And I just want to bring this up so that if anyone's listening, they're going, fucking hell, like I keep getting all these weird symptoms and I just don't know and I'm a bit too embarrassed to the doctor. Never be embarrassed. You must go because I feel like actually if I'd taken the HRT down there, maybe 5 years ago, I might not be as bad as I am now because it's
Right,
only
okay. Like
worse.
preventative medicine.
Tentative, yeah. And you know, I really wish I'd known all this before because I do feel like that would have made a big difference. But anyway, there's no point rethinking the past.
But then you can help people
I can help people.
listening.
Exactly. And some of the things I'd say, so if you're getting a lot of like recurring pain down there, if you're like, it's burning, it's sore, you're like, I just don't know what's going on. And also you can see a change, like your labia.
Hmm.
So sometimes they start to shrink back up. I mean,
Right, okay.
yeah. So anyway, so if you start to see those changes, and that's what it is, okay? And it's really important that you speak to your doctor about it and say, I think this is what is going on.
Yeah.
And that is going to be an HRT topical thing, but that
Right,
can
okay.
really make a difference. And I'm just amazed at how many people I've spoken about this quite a lot with some of my clients, and I'm suddenly going, oh my God, it's probably about 50% of my clients struggle with it. I had one of my clients the other day, bless her, love her. She's menopause, yeah, she's in a menopause now. But she takes one of the, it's basically I'm using something called a Vaginex, and it's like a pessary. And I was saying to her, I can't even put it in, it hurts so much. She was, I mean, obviously with her clothes on, but she was showing me the position of how to do it. And I was like,
Hmm.
even the doctor didn't tell me this, right? It was
Wow.
thing. And I was getting so many wonderful tips, and I've got maybe 4 or 5 ladies that have just been reaching out to me recently. I did like a whole coaching. I write like a Friday email every week, and I do one out to my clients.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Yes,
coach.
let me have the link and then I can share
Yeah,
it
yeah,
underneath.
amazing. Yeah, thank you. I will. And last week I did it all around about vaginal atrophy. And I had a couple of ladies reach out to me and like saying, oh, going along to this consultant. And it's really amazing because there was me for a long time feeling like
Mm.
I'm on my Jack
You're on your
Jones.
own. Yeah.
And now I'm getting loads of my clients talking to me. I'm just getting loads of people talk about it. And I think it's really important.
The
So,
conversation is opening up because man or woman, you can think like, oh, it's a real private area and oh, it's embarrassing taboo subjects. So the fact that you're opening this conversation is incredible because it's going to help so many people that do feel alone or just Google stuff and they may be missing the mark with everything that they're actually looking into.
yeah, because you will often think it's thrush or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, or cystitis, and we go, and then you keep taking the sachets, and you're like, well, it's still not going, and then
Mm.
and then they give you like the antibiotic because they think it's a UTI. But the problem with the antibiotics is then it starts killing everything off down there, so that's why you need the microbiome, which is why I'm taking the
Yeah.
probiotic. And then by the time you're killing more stuff down there, guess what? You're getting another issue, and it just keeps going on and on and on.
Mm.
And you can be going, I've joined this like a vaginal atrophy Facebook group, and it's like 36,000 people in there, and you're like, bloody hell, where all these
Mm.
people come from?
Yeah.
And everyone's sitting there chatting about, I don't mean in a woe is me, but just going, have you tried this and have you tried that? And it's brilliant.
Yeah.
But my top tip, on a serious note, around vaginas now, because I just think most people might go, whatever, but I will be sharing this to the world, is actually using a moisturizer. I don't mean like, your Clarins,
Yeah.
but
No face cream on your
yeah,
vagina,
no
ladies,
face cream.
please.
But things like actually one of the brilliant thing to use is coconut oil.
Ah, yeah. Coconut oil is all the rage for like coconut pulling and face cream and
Coconut oil
everything
is
now.
I use that for my vulva. But also there's a product called Yes. And there's loads of vaginal moisturizers, but there's a product I love. I think it's UK based. Yeah, it's called Yes, and I think they're vagina. It's all like chemically, it's all chemical free and
Yeah,
pH balanced,
paraben
and
free.
their products are amazing. And I don't get any kickback on this, by the way. I think they're
Yeah,
really nice and just
yeah,
swear.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I would definitely recommend that too. But I think going back to the whole perimenopause and if you're getting all these mood swings and you're just feeling like, oh God, it's doing what you're starting to do. Make those notes, write it
mm,
down,
yeah,
share it with people,
yeah,
talk it through with your bestie or a
yeah,
loved one,
yeah,
and assessing, go, what can I make? What can I change? How can I slow down? Or how can I improve my lifestyle so that I can support my body? Or
yeah,
looking at your regime, look at your diet. Do I need to change and tinker it a bit? Do I need to have more protein? Do I need more dietary fiber?
Hmm.
Do I need to cut back on the processed foods, maybe? There's so many different things we can look at to make a big difference.
Yeah, but it's like the all-round health because it all starts within, doesn't it? Because
All start
like
with it.
once your gut is healthy, your brain will become healthy, your moods will become a lot happier and less stress, cortisol, everything. It is just like a chicken and egg. It's a stuff, but it
Yeah.
all starts with your consuming food and the right foods, like you say, your fiber and your protein is so important. And I've completely just breezed past it because I'm always in a rush. I'm always under pressure. I'm always on to the next thing. So yeah, I've really decided and made an effort actually to have conversations like this, learn, educate myself, talk to people about lots of different subjects and get your hints and your tips and things of, what can improve. I love my life, I love my family, but I need to start loving me a bit more.
Yeah, start with, and I think here's the thing, it's like I've been doing, so I've got a Facebook group, and in there this week I've been doing a fat loss challenge, and it's just a 5-day fat loss challenge, just get people sort of, revved up for the
Hmm.
summer, but also just to get that motivation and inspiration back in. And it's like it's not just the looking at the cat. Here's my dog, Mad Eye. Not just the hello baby boy. Hey,
Oh,
it's not just the cat uses wake it out. It's not just the
yeah,
calories and the protein and the
yeah,
movement. It is the mindset. It's the
yeah.
starting with and the belief and going, right, I can make a change.
Hmm.
And it's that belief around, I'm a massive believer of like mantras and affirmations and, on a daily basis, saying those so that they start to ingrain and you start to take on this, like, I can do this.
Yeah, I believe you. Yeah, and being
Thoughts.
kinder to yourself, I think. Being,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't say anything about like unkind to about somebody else's appearance or weight or, you know, personality, but I'm quite happy to say it to myself. And it's like, why are you beating yourself up? You should be, and I teach my son all the time, like I'm an
Yeah.
advocate of like you need to be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest fan. You know what I mean? Not for anybody else's approval, but your own. Like I can teach him all the right things, but I don't teach it or
Put
do it
yourself.
myself. That's my downfall. At one point I was walking and I felt actually I can the guarantee of walking. Um, I don't know if it's an ADHD. I have to walk incredibly fast, like I power walk. I
Me
cannot
too.
just take a stroll. I That irritates me.
Me too.
The same as talking slow. I can't do that. So
Yeah.
I put on my music and I was walking to Carter's school, which is like 10 kilometers. And I was power walking it in like 45 minutes, 4 5 days a week. And I loved it. And then it got to the point where I was looking forward to putting on my trainers to go for the walk. And then I saw a snake on the road one day and I was like, right, that is it.
Oh, yeah.
That is it for me. Like, and now it's getting, South of France
Oh,
summer. It's
yeah.
too hot and I can't do it in the morning. So I've just got a cross trainer and a treadmill for my garage. Um, and I just need to even if it's like 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, walk or cross train. And actually weights, I'm physically for a female incredibly strong, but my cardio is really shit. Like smoking's killed my lungs. Like not that it affects me on a daily basis. I could still run from a bear if I had to, but like overall, it's not a good look, Steph. Um, so yeah, I need to up my cardio. I need to lose just the fat. I don't want to gain any more muscle. I just want to improve my fat levels, BMI, which I know I can do with lifting weights
Yeah.
and a bit of
So
cardio.
so you need to obviously focus on your weights, your strength training a few times a week, and make
Hmm.
sure it's just progressive. So you're getting
Yeah,
progressive overload.
yeah,
Cardio, decent amount of walking daily. Don't need to overdo it. Don't need to go and run like away from the bears. You can
yeah,
just get that cardio in.
yeah.
Small calorie deficit, as
Hmm.
opposed to, although you might be under eating. I don't know where you are,
I
the
was
office.
so under eating, so I actually found because I just blitz through my day, I never tracked anything. And the key for me is tracking something now. So when I was using my fitness pal and I was putting in my food, right? And it wouldn't let me finish my day. It's like you are in such a calorie deficit. stop basically, and it wouldn't let me put in my diary. And I was like, oh shit, like,
Wow. I've never heard
yeah,
that before.
honestly, like
Blimey.
it wouldn't even let me add my diary. It's basically saying that it's so unhealthy, it wouldn't even let you put it in. And I was like, oh, check it. Okay, so noted. Yeah, so I had that quite a few times. I was like, oh, okay, I need to sort that out. And I'm so lucky living in south of France. Like the produce here is incredible. Like the fresh fruits and veg and everything is seasonal out here. So you know you don't get like crappy food that's been sat around for a lot or covered in chemical food. It's all, you know, we can go to farmers markets and stuff, which you can probably do in London as well. It's having the access to
Yeah.
amazing fresh produce is incredibly important. But I got out of the love of cooking. I think because I was so busy, I was like, oh my God, now I've got to do dinner. It's another thing to do. So I've now bought back time on a Monday where I can go to the market, the local market, buy all my produce, and then meal prep for the week, and actually use my freezer because I never used to use my freezer. There was just stuff in there for years, and I was like, oh my God! So I've cleaned out my fridges. I've bought loads of glass jars to store stuff in, no plastics. Like I'm really committed to making a change, and an effort, and being more educated, so I can help Carter and you know go anyone anyone really that also
Well,
needs
it
a
sounds
little
like you're
spark.
making all the right positive changes. So hopefully you will start to see a big difference.
Yeah, just more rest, more self-love as well. And then
Yeah.
I'll just show you with you this book actually, which
Okay.
one of my friends gave me to read because she I was talking about like my symptoms. She went, I literally wanted to kill my husband. At one point. She's like, I even planned it in my head. Like she hated everybody and everything. And she's like, if I had my passport had, I would have gone. And I was like, if I had a valid passport, mine's expired, I would have gone a few weeks ago. Just got in my mini and just driven around France. Like I it got to that point and she was like HRT literally
Yeah.
changed her life.
Yeah.
But she got this book. I don't know if you guys can see it. So it's by Meg Matthews. I
The
turn it
new
that way.
hot.
The New Hot. And I think she was married to somebody in Oasis.
Yeah,
But
was,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm currently reading it. But it's about the perimenopause and the menopause. But it's about her story, how she got to where she was. You know, about the vagina, um, vaginal dryness. There's a
There
massive
you go.
um so it's a thing, but I just
It
don't
is
think
a
like
thing.
enough women talk about
Just
it.
don't have
And
enough women. No, yeah. I
oh
just don't
look,
think.
my vaginal atrophy
Oh, there you go.
was so
Yeah.
bad I could not even. Oh, all right, Meg.
Oh, what did you
I
say?
won't. She
Oh,
said I couldn't even get a finger inside me.
I can't either.
There we are. So about riding horses here. Um,
I mean, clearly, there's a lot. I think there's a lot of people that go through it, and it's just not talked about enough,
yeah, which is
right?
sad because at
And
this
I
day and age, we should be able to talk about everything.
yeah, exactly. A bit like, I was saying this to you earlier, and I went on to Instagram, was it last week? I can't remember. 2 weeks ago, maybe it was. I can't remember when it was. Week or lot or 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And one of my dear friends, we did like a live because I often do lives like with other
Oh, well
people.
done, you. I'm terrible.
Do
I won't even do
Instagram.
one. Yeah, yeah.
Should we do a live on Instagram?
Oh my God. Okay,
God,
let's.
come on to mine. Come on to
Take
my
the brave
Insta.
pill, Steph. Ooh.
Come on,
Yeah,
come on to my
let's
Insta.
do it.
Okay, so I often have people come onto my Insta, and yeah, which is Davinia LTD. If anyone wants to come and watch,
Yeah, I'll subscribe in a second.
yeah, and yeah, so come and do it with me. And we did a whole thing about how HRTs helped her, and then also we talked about HRT with my vagina. And I was hopeful at that point because I had a couple of weeks where it wasn't so bad. Because basically, when you're on your period, you've got moisture, right? More
Oh,
moisture.
it calms
So
down.
when you have your period, you're like, woohoo! And you're like, okay, I'm getting better. And then back down to normal.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
And actually
Oh,
ran my
that's so weird
period.
because I would have thought that's the other way around. When you're
No,
in
ran
your
my
period,
period.
it
I'm
makes it.
like living
Wow.
life. You have 10 days of reprieve. I do. I have 10-day period now. Anyway, I quite like having 10 days
Wow.
now. But what I was going to say is, yeah, so we start to talk about this. And then I got shadow banned, which basically means I wasn't allowed to do anything on social media for I think it was 6 days, which pissed me off, by the way. And I
Mm.
had to take the video down and take everything off. All right. And I was really upset. And I was like, so now we were having this whole thing of what we're going to call it now. But I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
My my whole page is about perimenopause and coaching and, you know, helping people through wellness and at this sort of time. And it's like, I was a bit annoyed. So I do
Yeah.
think we can talk about these things and we do talk about these things.
Yeah.
And I'm super proud of you that you are
Oh.
doing these podcasts and bringing people like me to talk about these things with you because you're
Yeah, and
really
just by
lovely. I know what I want to join you and Vanessa and be part of the podcast. No, I'm only joking.
do, honestly,
But you
because
guys
all
are
I want to do is create a group of support system because I moved to France, obviously not knowing the health French care system. I still don't really at all. Like I had a lump in my boob. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrible. It was a year before I actually went and got it looked at and it, had popped. It was an abscess. But I didn't know that. I had to go and get like a mammogram and stuff, and then that was awful because I didn't speak the language. The woman there was incredibly rude and had me in tears before I'd even got my results. And I was like, oh my God, like if I can stop women or men feeling like at their lowest point that they are vulnerable or they're alone or they're suffering in silence. Like if you can just have a conversation with someone and go, do you know what? We can talk about this. We've had like therapists on. So I'm actually doing gonna start talk therapy because I don't talk. Like I've masked everything for many a year. My son is like the biggest talker and he's like an open book, which I love, but I was never like that. So I'm actually getting into that as well, talk therapy, because I also believe it's all the trauma is all stored in my body, within my muscle, and I have triggers that come alive from my childhood. And I don't want that to affect Carter's childhood. I kind of need, they say it's like a 10 generation um, to stop the
the trauma
trauma, 10
part.
generations. And I'm like, I never want for Carter and my grandkids and beyond to have trauma just because we weren't brave enough to have the conversation or feel safe enough actually to
You know,
have the
last year
conversation.
I worked with a healer exactly on working on healing trauma.
Yeah. And
And
it's
it
all
was
combined, isn't it?
all combined. And she worked with my husband too, because my husband had a heart attack a couple of years ago. Yeah, he's doing a lot better now, but he's a bit older than me. So anyway, he's had to take things, slow, what have you. But
Hmm.
um, yeah, and she did a lot of work with him, and a lot of it was passed on trauma and generational trauma.
Yeah, it's heavy.
You know, it is heavy, and we have to clear it. So,
Yeah.
you either talk it out.
Yeah.
And also,
Yeah, absolutely.
all this other stuff, which I don't know what she's doing. I love her; she's amazing. But
Mm.
yeah, all these sorts of things make such a big difference. It's finding the right people that I think this is the thing. This is my big what's the word I'm going to use? I don't know what the big word I'm going to use. Perimenopause brain here, but my bit of advice I think is I think every single person. I have it right. So I work with a coach, I work with a hypnotherapist, and I have a couple of teachers that I work with for various other things. I truly believe, especially when you're working in, game of personal development or coaching or helping other people, but actually not just that, because I think every coach, if someone's working in this field like I am, you've got to have people to work with as well.
Yeah.
But I actually think everyone needs someone, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, paid or not, whatever way you're going to, who cares? The point is, everyone needs to work on themselves
Hmm.
to help get rid of some of the trauma, to heal, to grow, to prosper, to move forwards. And
Yeah.
I think, working like you're about to do, you're doing talking therapies, I think working with healers or coaches or, PTs, whatever it might be, it just makes such a big difference. And I think, but here's the other thing, if people can't afford to work with those people, then finding groups,
Yeah.
finding people that inspire you and motivate you, be it on Facebook or Insta or podcasts like yours, which is amazing, or, just people that inspire you and keep you going.
Yeah.
The other thing is anyone that you just feel like you're comparing against, or you look at their stuff and you just feel like shit or whatever. Anything that makes you feel crap, get rid of
Walk
it.
away from and
Walk away.
even
Walk
friendships.
on
I
by.
I I have actually done an episode called Friends and French Fries because obviously when I moved here, everybody knew who I was because of the show, and they had such opinions or thoughts about who I was, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm not. It was a show. You had to be a certain way to on camera, and I was like, I'm not this like outgoing, crazy uh character inside deep down, if you know me incredibly well, I'm a massive introvert. But when I have to perform or have to play the role, I can, but it's draining and it's exhausting because I'm such a huge people pleaser. Again, a childhood trauma, but I found a lot of people knew me here and liked that element that I could bring out at a party or whatever. But I'm like, but I can't carry that through every day. I'm not here to make you laugh or better all the time and put, you know what I mean? I had to filter so much that I then made my circle incredibly small, but it's a very good quality circle now. um,
That's
and
crucial.
the benefits of that, because I'm always want to, I want to invite everyone to the party. I want everyone to celebrate together. I want everyone to be supportive. And I didn't realize that everyone wasn't like that. It's a bit of naivety even at my age on that part. I couldn't recognize other people's motives and things, which again could be something to do with the ADHD. You don't recognize it, but I am an empath, so I can feel everybody, and I know what they're going to say before they say it. And it drained to the point where I thought, I don't know if I want to live here anymore. I don't know if I can do it anymore. And I realized actually it's not them that's the problem, it's me because I've said yes when I actually didn't want to. I've said, oh, I'll do that when I really didn't have the time, or I'll do this for you, even though it's put what I needed to do for me at the bottom of the list again. Like, it's my own self-worth that I'm now recognizing and working on. And it encompasses everything from your friendship circles to your family support, your friendship support, to your food, your hormones, your exercise, your sleep, your every thick and string, because we're all computers, like we're all machines at the end of the day. And if you're glitching somewhere because you're not following, a protocol that you need to be healthy, shit happens. And I physically and mentally landed myself in shit. So I'm trying to get out of it.
But you're making progress because you're taking these steps, and that's phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. Responsibility actually was the key. Um,
I think it's being
to,
aware. Awareness is key, isn't it? It's responsibility.
yeah.
Once you know, and you're going, actually, I need to make some changes. That's when the changes happen, right?
Mm,
That's crucial. So,
yeah.
I recently, I don't want to tell you this, but anyway, I recently took on this lovely client. Oh, she's so nice. And so okay, so she's like, oh, how old is she? Mid 50s. She's still in perimenopause. And I think I said to you, oh bloody hell, I think I've just said this earlier. I can't remember. I've said, did I talk about the lady that's just changed the chocolate bars around? I can't remember. No.
No,
All right, fine.
no.
Okay, right. So basically, this lady that I'm working with, again, it's awareness. She couldn't understand, right, what was going on, why she wasn't as skinny. I will use the word skinny because that's her word, as she should
Yeah.
be. She's like running every day. She's doing, I mean, shed loads of cardio, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, well, let's have a chat. And I was doing some coach with her, or I said I'll coach her. And when we first started talking, I was like, okay, well, the major issue, and she just wasn't aware because she was doing like 10, 10,000 to 15,000 steps running a day, plus doing some cardio, like cardio, like in the gym, plus doing weights. She's assuming she's going to be super thin, right? But the problem was her chocolate bar consumption.
Oh, can't outrun a bad diet, can you?
I ran a bad
Or a
diet.
chocolate bar.
Yeah, and it wasn't just like one chocolate bar. We're looking at 3 to 4 a day, right?
Oh,
On top of all her normal food, right? And it's
right.
what she didn't realize. And there's no judgment because Christ, I mean, like, I love chocolate, right?
Yeah.
I have no judgment on this because I've been there, done and got the t-shirt, right? But sometimes we need to have that awareness of what we're doing because sometimes we just
Mm,
don't realize. Like the other
yeah.
day, this was hilarious, right? So I decided I was going to run this Facebook challenge in my group. So another plug, be your best at 40 and beyond
Be your
on
best at 40 and beyond.
yeah, I'll take the end. You need to come and join it, okay?
Yes.
In there, you're gonna be our favorite person, like woo woo.
I gotta
And
be in there.
you're gonna be in there. So I decided to do this like free fat loss challenge in there, mainly because I was like, I've not been feeling so great, so I'm feeling a little bit flabby, and I'm just being honest, right? Totally honest myself. Haven't been doing as much because of feeling shit. And also, here was the other thing, awareness. My husband
Hmm.
goes to me the other day. I was so fucked off. I was so annoyed at him. I was like, how dare you? Anyway, he goes to me, your breakfast is looking a bit bigger. And I was like, off. And then I looked at it and I went, no, it's not. And he's like, okay, just saying. You know, that really annoys me. Well, that really annoys me. So then he sort of went out of the room. I don't know what he's doing. So I was like, so I had for breakfast, I have various, few different breakfasts, but this breakfast is granola, like the high protein granola. And then I have
Hmm.
like fard yogurt and then I have berries and nuts and seeds. So I'd put the granola in and then I was going to put all the crap on top, right? But he'd seen the granola I'd put in. So and he's seen I've got my berries that have all been washed and they're in the little sieve and I've got my yogurt. So before I've even put it in the bowl, he's going, that's a big breakfast. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I thought, I'm just going to measure the granola. Now, normally when I'm on it, I measure my granola, right? I'm just being honest. I'm human, right? And I'd normally do 20 grams of granola. Doesn't sound like much, but that is like 200 calories. And then I have my yogurt and my berries and my nuts and seeds. So I still have like a good 400-calorie breakfast, right? It's quite
Hmm.
nice with my protein, whatever. Fucking hell. Sorry, I know I swear a lot.
No, carry on.
Bloody granola. I poured it in a measuring cup, right, just to see. And I was like, fuck. I'd gone over 3 times.
Wow.
I was looking at like sorry, 246. Probably looking at about 650 calories on the granola. Mortified.
But it's easily done though, because you're just
Easily
pouring
done.
it, right?
You're
Yeah.
just pouring it. Normally I put it
Yeah.
into like a little measuring thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, and here's the other thing. I'm a bit of a secret squirrel with granola. I've got a thing for, I'm going to stop
Have
buying it from
you?
them. Yeah. Because I keep going to frit in the kitchen. I go, bit bored. I don't eat crap. I try to eat,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, oh, it's high protein. It's fine, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, love. You're scoffing it down.
Yeah. Anything
No,
that could be healthy, but in the wrong
if
quantity.
in the wrong quantities. It's a bit like, when I'm saying to people, nuts are great, but in the right quantities, you know?
Yeah, I was obsessed with almonds at one point, and
Yeah,
then
I love.
pistachios, and I was like, oh no, they're
You've got a portion, haven't you? So, like, when I'm
yeah,
in super like structured mode, so now, but that's why I did this challenge this week. I was like, right, that's it. Run around the window. I've been really on it.
yeah,
Measuring things. That's how I normally do. I always plan my food for the day ahead. These are the things I recommend. Small calorie deficit. Focus on the protein. Bob's your uncle. Great. But here's the thing, when we can sometimes get a bit lackadaisical and it creeps up. So it's a
yeah,
bit like my lady with the chocolate bars. There's no judgment there because actually they've just crept up, and before she knew it, she's doing three or
yeah,
four. Initially, it was
yeah. But not even noticing it's a
not even
habit.
noticing it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah,
like
again,
me.
it's that awareness, isn't it? And when you're busy or you're super tired or you're super stressed, sometimes you become unaware whether it's one chocolate bar or four. And that's again why journaling again is incredibly important because
Yeah.
then if it's in black and white, you can't hide from it. And
That's why I like measuring actually. Like if you, especially if
yeah,
people do like a regime, they're on a bit of a fat loss regime. I use my fitness pal. I like to plan my food day
yeah,
ahead, my protein in. And measure. When I'm on it, I properly, use my little cups. I measure. When I'm
yeah.
not fully on it, I'll still write my plan for the day, still pop it into my fitness pal, but
Hmm.
put 200 grams of 200 calories for my granola instead of 600 and something.
Yeah, and that's so easily done as well. So I'm looking currently into like yeah, like bone health and things and doing
Yeah,
squats because I know that when you're older and actually it's probably made me more aware because where I used to live in England there was a lot of people my age with kids my age and of older generation but I didn't really take note of them but then I moved here and there's a lot of retired people
yeah,
and do you know what? I see the French are 9 times out of 10 incredibly fit. You'll see like a late 80-year-old every day in his garden mowing his lawn or strimming or weeding. Um, and the Brits tend to struggle a lot more because their bones are more brittle. And actually, I've found out it's your thighs, which are one of the most important things to have strong thighs.
yeah,
So I'm trying to squat. Like I've got osteoarthritis. My knees are really shit. But again, chronic stress causes inflammation in your joints and cortisol. So I'm trying to reduce that so I can do more squats. So I'm finding alternatives to do the squat move without actually having to tuck my knees up more. So yeah, I'm going to start a challenge on the a bit glow up because I love who I am. But just improving myself like a software upgrade, if you will.
I love that. That sounds
So yeah,
good.
that's what I'm starting on, and yeah, I'll keep you posted and
Keep me
document.
posted. Yeah. Well, I want
document
to
what I
come join
do.
my Facebook group and maybe I can come on
Yeah.
here another day and we can do another chat because I could chat
Yeah.
to you all bloody day. Although
I
I'm actually
know it's
think
so
that.
weird that it's like I didn't know who you were. You were just a post on a social media, and here we are.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But your advice and stuff and your hints and tips, like, it's just going to help so many people. And one of my things, I obviously live with two men. So how could I
Yeah.
help them help me? Question.
So, do you know what? I mean, I would just be honest, right?
Yeah,
And I'd have two different conversations, or you have it together with them. But
yeah.
I'd be like, your son's called
Carter.
Carter. I was about to say
Yeah.
Curtis. I heard Carter, but someone would say I might even sit down with Carl and say, look, Mum, I don't even notice, but Mummy's just a little bit more frazzled than normal. And Mummy's just getting a little bit hotter and da 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 da. And you could just say in a very nice way, look, Mummy's having a few more struggles. And then I would sit down and explain a little bit about perimenopause and how Mummy's hormones and that basically you could just say they don't really understand hormones, but you could just say how I feel and what's gone on my body
Yeah,
doing. And so mummy sometimes might just seem like she's a little bit different, or she might suddenly just feel a bit teary, or she might look like she's being teary, she might be just a bit more grumpy. Just know that mummy loves you no matter what, but I just things are changing. That's what I sort of said to my daughter. I mean, she's
yeah,
amazing because she's seen the problems I've had.
yeah,
And with your dad, I think it's just saying, Dad, things are a little bit different, and I think I'm going
yeah,
through. And I hate saying
yeah.
these things sometimes because you're my dad, but
Yeah,
Dad.
yeah, that awkward. He's very understanding, but I just never had those. I guess we're from that family that never has those
Yeah.
conversations that are weird, awkward, or embarrassing. You know what I mean?
I
But
hear you. But do you know what I've got to say, right? I must go soon, but what I was going to say is this. This is the funniest part. If you want to I don't know, you obviously get on with your dad because you've
hmm.
moved over there with your dad, so that's lovely. And my dad's lovely, but he's hard work because he's that age where he's just a bit grumpy.
Oh, my
So,
dad's getting there. Yeah, got there
all
now.
right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so dad will ring me up in the morning and just like moan, 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 moan. I think, oh, fuck off. So
yeah,
in the past, I'd be going, oh, Dad, I'm not in a good place today because I've got cystitis. Because cystitis, they don't really get that. So it's like, oh, whatever. And then it will just witter on, and then he carries on, and you just think, oh, now, do you know what I do now to get him off the phone?
but
Dad, I'm not in a good space. My vagina hurts. Okay, okay, I'm going, I'm going. My
oh,
friends
I love
laugh.
it. I
It's
love
the
it.
best way. But
Mm.
honestly, I know to say to my dad, look, Dad, things have changed. I'm getting a lot of problems. I'm going through perimenopause. You don't need to say about your vagina. Your vagina's fine. But
So
just
far,
so far, get that moisturizer on, get the old coconut oil, you'll be fine, be whizzing around. But but I think it's just sitting down and saying, look, I just want to say something. I'm just sort of struggling and this is what's happening. When you
yeah,
think of that, people are
yeah.
so nice. Uh,
Yeah, I think if you don't judge yourself, I
yeah,
think
and you're
that's the key to it because I judge
judging
myself, not anybody
yourself.
else, but myself, and I think everybody's
Yeah.
guilty of that. But
And you're just
yeah,
honest.
less judgment.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. It's like my final time I say the word vagina, but I couldn't say the word vagina for years, right?
Yeah,
And now I've got friends, and I love them because we've got a little Facebook group, a little WhatsApp group. And I said to them, I want to go and do like a live about atrophy and da. And I said, are you there? Will you guys come and do it with me? And one of them was like, she goes, Davinia, our friendship is based around your vagina or something, like just jokingly going, like, we talk about it. It's just part of it now and it's all good.
yeah, it's like another
And I
person in the room.
Exactly. And it's like, actually, do you know what? That's really nice
Yeah,
because, like, I felt used to be feel really worried about talking about these things. And now I can talk about these things. And I think, it's just, I had to sort of start that conversation about, oh, like, I'm having these struggles. And it felt really awkward telling my friends. And now everyone's so bloody nice. Everyone's
yeah,
so nice about it because, I mean,
yeah,
what can you do, right?
yeah,
And that's the thing. And so, like, if you tell your loved ones that just things are changing a bit and I'm just feeling a little bit different. And
yeah,
I still love you no matter what, but I might be a bit more, grumpy or whatever. People get that, and that's
yeah.
the thing, and that's
Yeah,
what
and
you
then it takes the pressure off, and then you
get
feel a bit more comfortable about it and owning it a bit more, I guess.
owning it exactly.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many amazing like tips and hints and things. That's incredible. And yeah, I'm excited to get in your group and then I can start,
Come and join my
documenting.
group. Promise me you'll join today, so we
I
can.
will join today. Send me the link and I will join as soon as you send it.
Oh, well,
And
amazing.
yeah, we'll do some more chats because I think it just helps so many more people, men, families, and women and children. That whole conversation because everybody um is affected by it.
Yeah,
Even if you're not the one having the menopause, your husband's going through it with you too and your children. So let's make it as comfortable and as easy and a transition as possible by just talking.
talk
So if
about it.
anyone has any questions that, or hints and tips that they have. One of mine was somebody said that they would put a note on their fridge in the morning about how they were feeling, like on a 1 to 10 scale. So when their family came down the stairs for breakfast, already they were aware of how she was feeling that day. You know, so they're a bit more careful around her. And kind, which is lovely. So if you have any hints and tips that you would love to share, or DM me if you feel you don't want to post it underneath the comments, not a problem. And then let us know what else you want to talk about, and we will get that filmed for you. But I hope you are loving this episode, and we'll post all Davinia's links underneath so you can join the group or you can follow on Instagram and talk some more vaginas. Um, we can talk anything. It's that
Health,
kind of
wellness,
place
fat
here.
loss, not just vaginas here.
Yeah, not just two vaginas, a whole lot more to offer. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm so excited that we actually got to see each other and not just talk about me
So,
starfishing in the swimming pool. I have been doing for so long.
so joyful. You're such a joy. You're so lovely. I'd love to
Ah,
come do this again soon. You are
yeah.
amazing.
Oh,
And
and right back at you, my
you
darling.
just you just light the room up. You just got this
Ah,
lightable, smiley, happy face, and it's so
yeah. Well, less cortisol. So keep
mm.
posted because I'm gonna do some washing and
Next time I
some.
see you, you'll be like this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'll have
darling.
it. I'll have a jawline next
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
You won't.
Jawline, jawline. Oh, you're beautiful. You are
Oh,
beautiful.
bless you. Thank you. And you
Remember
are too.
that. Gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Mwah.
I'll speak to you
I'll
soon.
speak to you soon, darling.
Take
Thanks so
care.
much.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.